So, good example of how shit can snowball. I've had a problem with my driver's side power window switch not functioning correctly. These are just tiny little, nice little chrome toggle switches. They look really cool and they fit in this rad power window switch bit that I made out of a grill emblem. It's an EH grill emblem, and I've just, used some timber stuff to make it look nice. I'll probably change this, I think, but for now it's pretty good. I've got two extra holes that I'm not going to use now. That was the old ones for the rear windows that popped. They don't pop anymore, so that can all come out. So that's 4 relays for that, 4 relays for these two. So what I'm going to do is remove all of the wiring from in under somewhere, just so it's not in there being live and whatever. Score a couple of relays, but on this time I've got these rad little rubber fucking condoms on them. Screw on, and they look really trick. And I'm hoping, because they'll stop my salt water finger after a surf from dripping water down and into the switch, hopefully this time the switch will last a bit longer. Hope so. Anyway, they look pretty cool though. Just screwed in nice. So now what I can do is join all of those middle terminals with one chunky piece of wire soldered together, and then I'll actually join both of the outsides together to run each of the switches, just so there's an extra switching moment, like an extra switch contact in there. Just help them out a bit. They don't use any current, they're just pulling the relays to earth, so there's fuck all current going through them, but it's still something. And then I'm hoping I can put all this back on and it'll look sort of nice. These just come undone with me little M4 screws. It's pretty good, so it's going to look good, but cool little things you can get now. Now, part of the problem with this, of course, is that shit's snowballed, so I'm like, alright, cool. Well, if I'm going to do this, that means I'm unwiring wire that runs up and over to the back there, and I'm pulling it out. So while I'm doing that, I may as well pull out the wire for the stereo, because I don't want it where it is anymore. I don't want it there. I want it up there, and that shit over there I want down there. So I'm going to make, first things first, pull the stereo out, and it can just go on the shelf until I'm finished. It's just a piece of shit one, it doesn't matter anyway. But I just put it on the shelf, and then I don't really listen to it, so I'll fabricate, design, make up my little thing that's gonna fill in that hole and give me nice little 3 gauges that'll be angled towards Micka when he's sitting in that seat. Anyhow, mad shit. Yeah, fucking alright, so what are we doing here? Well, this is not working. I think there's a little bit of flex in it. Also, if I look at where the center of mass of this whole thing is, it's sort of just in front of the axle here, down the bottom. Like, that's the bit that it wants to rotate around, and then it's resisting that with the leaf springs over here. Now, because I've added a bit of drop to the axle, so we've created made the pads a little higher. Now I get really bad axle tramp, especially in reverse, because essentially there's more leverage on the spring from the diff, the axle. So what I did was I made this thing. You've all seen this before if you're following me. I remade it to work like this. So if you think about how the force is applied, it's a push-pull here and a push-pull up the top here. And I think what's happening is these little bits are actually flexing a little bit. I had this with the previous diff and it worked okay, worked good. But what I had was a mount down here, which I'd use some of this webbing to bolt onto and hold the second mount way down here on the snout. And the snout is the bit that flops up and down. So the further away from that center of rotation, center of mass I can get, the more leverage the bush has to stop it from rotating. As well as that, I'll put it down here on the main bit of mass that's doing the up and downing. I can hopefully reduce my axle hop. So what that'll be is the force on this piece then, instead of being push-pull, will actually be this way, because this piece will be trying to push down on the bar, and the bar will pull down on that instead of pushing it forward and backwards. And I think that will be better, because then this is directly in line, like it's pulling sideways on these two bolts, so it'll be trying to shear those bolts instead of pushing and pulling on them, and the flex won't be anywhere near an issue. I'm just hoping this all works. I've started a rough cut here of my old, and then I'll drill holes through up in here. This is, I can probably even, actually I might even cut that and just go a little further forward. The further forward I can get that mount, like even way up here off the end of the snout, every millimetre there will help. And I've got this massive big pad on here, so I've got plenty of meat to do stuff with. So I'm just going to keep doing this. Drill some holes in this chunky, or pick the chunkiest part of the webbing here just to drill the holes through. So this will essentially clamp down around that piece of webbing and give me a mount forward. The mount doesn't have to stop. It doesn't have to, be super strong or anything. It's not even as strong as a panhard rod. It doesn't have to be. But that's what I've got to do. All right. I guess we'll see how it goes. This is chunky. There's a jam nut on top to stop that from spinning, even though it can't spin because it's captive inside that, so I don't really need it, but put a jam nut so that it can get tight. This one's nice, all done up. So now this will act directly up and down to stop the diff rotating this way. I'm hoping this will stop the problem of the fucking axle tramp on reversing. It's not too bad in forward. Without anything at all, it does it a little bit in forward, and it's absolutely shocking in reverse. Like, it's impossible to reverse the car. So I've got to put it down, get it down off the stands, take it for a drive and see if it worked. Only thing is, I can't do that because the front of the car is full of shit, because I started doing stuff and then left it to do this. Well, while I was waiting for some filler to dry. So let's go up the front of the car inside and have a look at what I'm doing there. Okay, here we are. So this is filler on top of a piece of aluminium to fill the radio blank. What I did that for is, if I undo these two screws, I should be able to crack this loose and pull this piece out, and it'll fit perfectly in there. Give me a really good base to start my gauge pod on here. So I don't know how the gauges are going to fit, if they're going to fit. I used to, a long time ago, I had one temperature gauge in here, 2-inch gauge, and it fit okay. So I'm just hoping, undo all this and see. This filler is just some shit I had. It's plasti fill, so this is actually for filling plastic bumpers. So I got it when I was doing Dad's stager, and I don't need it for stuff that I use. I don't have plastic bumper cars, or I do, but not mine, so who cares? So I'm just going to peel this off now and hopefully see if I can remove this. So let's try. I don't know if this is going to work or not, so I'm trying to set up my phone so I can just record me doing it and see if it's going to work. Peel away everything. It's possible the fucking thing is just stuck in there and never coming out. Maybe it'll come out. I'll make it come out, but you know what I mean? You know? Oh, look at that. If I can get this thing like pretty good, doesn't have to be perfect, but pretty good, it'd be really nice. Just make life a lot easier. Then I've got a nice base that I can build the gauge pot off. it follows the curves here. So the curve of the dashboard. Just hoping it worked. I actually had this thought while I was setting this up that maybe the pod would need to actually come out a little wider, in which case well, I can push it out wider this way because I want to angle the gauges towards the driver. So that third one is going to be the problem child. If I need to push out from it wide, all I'll do is just, oh look at that fucking claret every time. All I'll do is add filler to make it just sit flush against that surface there. Here we go, now we're in the trouble. Oh, look at that. That's okay, it's coming off. Oh, look at that. Fuck yeah. Oh, dude. Look at that. That's amazing. So you can see that's the piece of aluminium on the back of it. So that'll give me, I can, use these bits to make little mounting points. So this can fit in there. I toyed with making some points to mount it before I did this, but I just don't know where the gauges are going to sit. So no good making a mounting point if it's going to be in the middle of a fucking big ass hole. Look at that. Look at that profile. You see that? I don't know if you can see it on the... Let's get that closer. Hang on, where are we? There. See that? Just matches the... So I'll just wait for this. This isn't gone fully off yet, but look at that. That's just going to fit in. That is beautiful. God damn, I'm happy with that. Couldn't resist. Went and got the belt sander and just knocked the corners and everything off it and gave a little touch up. Just so I can have a look at it again. That really is brilliant. Fits so good. It's so clean. Fucking happy with that, man. I used to have the radio blockout, the blanking plate. They were worth nothing. You can get them for absolutely nothing. Now they're a squillion bucks if you can find one. So I also fixed my my little wiper squirty boys. They work now again. Moved it up in here. It's loud as shit, but you don't use it that often, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, so not in the engine bay at least, but I don't know, maybe it could be. Get a nice looking one and put it in there, but future Micka. My actual plan, what I'd love to do, is to, I want to make a double hump dash, so you have the EH dash like this on the left as well as the right. And then in here is whatever you want, so I could put a screen in it or something like that. This is already mounted hard without the, because normally that's attached to the front of the existing glove box, but I don't have one. Never have had, because I need space for all fuses and shit. So it's going to get even worse when I EFI the thing, which is coming, people. I swear to God it's coming. EFI is coming.